Hello viewers, welcome to Mrs. Roy's English classes. Today let me tell you all about myself. I am Nupur Roy. I have done master's degree in English literature and also have done Bachelor of Education. Please let me tell you all that I have learnt English more by teaching for 28 years than my professional degrees. Today I would start with The Merchant of Venice. There have been many requests from students and viewers to explain the drama The Merchant of Venice. Please see through the whole video and subscribe and like, and do press the bell button so that notification may go to you for my further updates. So here you see The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice is written by William Shakespeare, and this is a very famous play and very interesting play also. The famous court scene and the famous lines, "The quality of mercy is twice blessed," is in this play only. So here you see The Merchant of Venice is in this. Today I will explain you the first act 1, scene 1. Now here you see that this scene, the very opening of this scene, of this play, of this drama, we find Antonio, who is the merchant of Venice, in a melancholic mood. So, viewers, you must note this, that this is a Shakespearean technique. That is, this melancholic mood actually forebodes the dangers which later the characters have to face. Especially this scene is leading to the failure of the bond, which will be in the latest acts. Now here Antonio, in this scene, we are introduced with the two main characters, Antonio and Bassanio. This drama is the story of the love romance of Portia and Bassanio. Now, in this scene, Act 1, Scene 1, which is in a street in Venice, and here we are introduced with Antonio, Bassanio, who are the major characters, and also we are introduced with his friends, their friends, that is Antonio's and Bassanio's friends, some minor characters, that is Celerino, Selenio, Gratiano and Lorenzo. All these characters are introduced in the Act 1, Scene 1. Now here you see in the very opening lines, we find that Antonio is in a melancholic mood and his friends Celerino and Selenio are trying to pacify him, giving him various reasons why his mood is melancholic. But Antonio himself doesn't know why he is sad, and he says that he is melancholic for some unknown reasons. And here also Gratiano, Lorenzo, Bassanio also comes, and Bassanio, in this act only we find that Bassanio, who is a very good friend of Antonio, asks for a loan to go to Belmont to woo Portia. Well, Bassanio is a spendthrift person. Spendthrift means he has no money, he wastes the money a lot, and therefore he asks a loan from Antonio so that it can furnish him to go to Belmont to woo Portia. Now, viewers, this is the very first line of Act 1, Scene 1. Antonio, in sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me, you say it wearies you. So Antonio says that truly, honestly, he doesn't know why he is so sad. And it wearies him, that is, it tires him, and it is affecting his friends also. They also say that they are also worried, they are also getting tired of knowing it. But how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it's made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. So Antonio says that he doesn't know that from where this sadness has come to him, how he has caught it, how he has found it, or from where it has originated. He has yet to know. I am to learn means he has yet to know. And such a want with sadness makes of me that I have much ado to know myself. So such a want with sadness means such a depression is making him a want with person, that is a sad fellow, and he is taking much trouble to know himself what is the reason of his melancholic mood. Now you see, this scene is really a very, very melancholic scene. Melancholic mood of Antonio is shown to, and the others are also getting affected, and they are here giving different reasons to him for being sad. Celerino, your mind is tossing on the ocean, there where your argosies with portly sail, like Cygnus and rich burghers on the flood, or as it were the pageants of the sea. So Celerino gives the reason to Antonio that your mind means Antonio's mind must be tossing on the ocean. That is, Antonio's mind must be trouble for the portly, for the argosies. For the argosies means the rich merchandise with portly sail, that is with richly laden merchandise in it, that is troubling him, and therefore his mind is in the ocean. His mind is worried about the things happening in the ocean, like Cygnus and rich burghers on the flood. So Celerino says that his argosies with portly sail, that is with richly laden cargo, they are just like Cygnus and rich burghers on the flood. How are they moving on the ocean? They must be moving on the ocean as rich merchants, and those big ships must be giving a pageant, a very beautiful scene on the sea. Do overpeer the petty travellers that curtsy to them, do them reverence as they fly by them with their woven wings. And Celerino says that as his rich burghers, as his Cygnus, big rich ships are passing on the seas as if it is a pageant, as if it is a beautiful scene, the petty travellers, that is the smaller ships, they are being overpeered, that is looked by the big ships. And in courtesy, the petty travellers, that is the smaller ships, are bowing to them in reverence, and the big ships pass them, fly by them means pass by them with their woven wings, that is with their flying masts. So viewers, this also you can understand by this reason that actually when the big ships move on the water, they form a lot of ripples, and in those ripples, in those high waves, the smaller ships, how are they found? They are found to be moving as if going down and up with the waves, and as it appears as if they are bowing to the big ships to show some reverence. Celerino, believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, the better part of my affections would be with my hopes abroad. So Celerino, another friend of Antonio, says that if he too had such business forth on the sea, the better part of my affections, that is, his mood would also be melancholic, and it would be with the ships which are abroad, which are in foreign lands. I should be still, plucking the grass to know where sits the wind. So what would he do? He too, Selenio too, would be plucking the grass and to know where sits the wind. That what he would do? He would pluck the grass and he would put them in against the wind to see which side the wind is blowing. Peering in the maps, he would be also so worried that he would be looking very carefully in the maps for all the ports, the piers and the roads. That is, all the places where his ships would be visiting, the ports, the piers and the roads. So he would be seeing in the maps to see where are those ports, piers and roads, and every object that might make me fear. And he would look to every object that would make him afraid of any kind of misfortune which would happen to my ventures, means which would happen to his ventures, which would happen to his merchant ships. Out of doubt would make me sad, and for these reasons Selenio says he too would be sad. Celerino, my wind, cooling my broth, would blow me to an ache. So what Celerino says, that my wind means my breath cooling my broth, that is my breath, when it would be cooling, the broth means the soup, would also blow me to an ache. That is, it would also remind, his own breath would remind him and of the ventures in the sea, and he would shiver in fever, that when I thought what harm a wind too great at sea might do. So his own breath would make him shiver with fever, that what wind can bring harm to the ships at the sea. I should not see the sandy hourglass run. So Celerino says that he would also not like to see the sandy hourglass run. That is, sandy hourglass was used in the olden days to see the time. So there were two beakers of there, and from the top beaker the sand used to flow, go down to the bottom beaker, to the bottom glass, and this is the way how they used to see the time. So Celerino says that he would not even see the sandy hourglass from where the sand drops in the lower glass. Then what happens in the upper glass, where the sand is going down, there would be forming a shallow, and those shallow of the sandy hourglass would remind him of the shallow sands in the shores of the sea. And what would they remind? It would, and see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand, and those shallows formed in the sandy hourglass would remind him that his wealthy Andrew, that is, wealthy means richly laden merchant ships, whose name is Andrew, stuck in the sand, wailing her high top lower than her ribs. And what it would remind him, that the ship Andrew would be fallen with its sides, with its ribs, and kiss the sand as if the sand is its burial ground. As its burial ground means its end, it would be buried in the sand. Next reason, Celerino says that should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone, and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks. So he says that if he goes to the church and sees the holy edifice, holy structure made of stone, and those stone of the church would remind him of the dangerous rocks in the sea, which would be touching his gentle vessel and make all the goods, the richly laden ship's goods, enrobe the roaring waters. That is, they would be reminding him that all the richly laden goods would be scattering by the dangerous rocks, and all the spices and the silks would be enrobing the roaring water, would be spread and covered on the flooded water. And in a word, but even now worth this and now worth nothing. That is, Salarino says that in a word means, in short, it can be said that in one moment he has everything and in the next he has nothing. Shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing bechanced would make me sad? So Salarino says that such thoughts would always make him sad, would always give him a chance to be sad. But tell not me, I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. So the Salarino gives the reason that for this reason, for such reasons only, Antonio is also sad, and he must be thinking about his merchandise which he has sent forth in the sea. Antonio, believe me, no, I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, nor to one place, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore my merchandise makes me not sad. So Antonio says he is a rich merchant of Venice. He tells them to believe him, that he must thank his good fortune, and all his ventures are not in one bottom trusted. That is, it is not his ventures have not gone to one sea or to one place, nor he is depending on his fortune of that year. Therefore, he says that his merchandise is not a reason which is making him sad. Salarino, why then you are in love? So Salarino very nicely says that if you are not sad if you are not thinking about the merchandise, then the reason must be that he must be in love. Now Antonio is a rich merchant, and he says, fie, that means shame, what nonsense you are telling. Salarino, not in love neither? Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry, and it were as easy for you to laugh and leave and say you are merry because you are not sad. So Salarino says that if you are not in love either, then it means, then let us say that you are sad because you are not happy, because you are not merry. And it is very easy to say that, for if you laugh and jump about, you can say that you are happy because you are not sad. That is, there is no reason for it. Now by two-headed Janus, nature hath framed strange fellows in her time. So Salarino here gives the reference of Janus, who was a Roman god who had two heads. He says that the two-headed Janus had two faces, and nature has created some strange fellows in her time. So he says that just like the two-headed Janus, that is, Janus had two faces. One face was depicted sadness and the other face depicted joy. And the two-headed Janus was always installed on the gates of the Roman streets. So he says that nature has made some people so that even on silly things, they would just laugh like parrots, and even silly things like if they see a bagpiper being played. Bagpiper is a musical instrument being played, they would laugh and through their eyes. Just a silly thing. And other of such vinegar aspect. And nature had framed another type of person who have such vinegar aspect, such grave nature, that they will not show their teeth even when Nestor. Who is Nestor? Nestor is also a Greek god who was depicted to be a very grave personality. So here it is said that there are some fellow who have such grave as vinegar aspect means grave nature, that even they will not show their teeth even if the grave Nestor finds some joke laughable. Nestor never used to laugh. That is, even Nestor swears that a joke is laughable on such things also. Some persons have such vinegar aspect that they do not smile. Selenio, here comes Bassanio, your most noble kinsman. So, Gratiano and Lorenzo. So, Selenio now says, Bassanio is the noble kinsman, the noble friend who is accompanied by Gratiano, Lorenzo. They have all come, and therefore he bids goodbye. Fare ye well. We leave you now with better company. Celerino, I would have stayed till I had made you merry. So Celerino says that he would love to stay till he would make Antonio merry or Antonio happy. If the worthier friends had not prevented me, that is, if the arrival of some worthier friends would not have stopped him to do so. Antonio, your worth is very dear in my regard. I take it your own business calls on you. So Antonio says that your worth, his presence is very dear to him, dear to Antonio, but some private business he must be having for which he is leaving, and you embrace the occasion, that is, he is taking the chance to leave that place. Enter Bassanio, Lorenzo and Gratiano. Celerino, good morrow, my good lords. Bassanio, good signors both. When shall we laugh? So Bassanio says, good gentlemen, when we will all sit together and laugh. See, when you grow exceeding strange, that is, you are becoming strangers. Must it be so? That is it necessary to do so? Celerino, will make our leisures to attend on yours. So Celerino says that they will all make some good time, some leisure time to attend them. Exeunt Celerino and Selenio. Viewers, I would continue this scene in my next video. Hope you have liked the explanation. If you did not understand in any line, please write in the comment box so that I can explain it again. Thank you.